looks like we're live. I'm going to take it on a limb that we're probably live. I'm going to assume that chirp was my page. Wrong button. All right.
I'm going to get this shared over to the business page, Matt, and I'm ready to roll.
Sounds good to me. We've got... looks like we got a couple of people starting to tune in here. Give us a few minutes. We're going to get this shared over to the DMEC page, and then we'll kick things off so everybody who's tuning in can see what's going on. So bear with us for a minute. We're playing with new technology tonight.
Oh, these computers are slow tonight.
I'm just happy it looks like it's hopefully not twitchy. Sometimes it gets a little... I know in my old house it was a little glitchy sometimes.
A little squirrely there.
Yep. So far, so good. What's going on, Josh? All right. So far, so good. Hey, Dave. How you doing, man?
Well, let me see here. Well, I'm trying to get that posted over on my side there, Matt, but it is not. Oh, there we go. It finally went. There we go. Cool. I'm ready to go when you are, buddy.
All right. Cool. Well, to everybody tuning in, those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Matt Gerard with Downrange Firearms Instruction. Jared, I'll let you do your...
Evening, everybody. Jared Smith with DMEC tonight.
I think tonight we're just going to kind of get caught up with everybody that we haven't talked to in forever. I think tonight we're just going to kind of get... You want to throw your video on mute there, brother?
Yep, I just got that. Sorry.
3-second lag time. I think we're getting caught up with everybody tonight, and we're going to do a little Q&A. So if anybody just wants to jaw jack or whatever, we'll tell you what we got going, what's coming on this season, and anything anybody else wants to particularly talk about. So I'm good with you want to kick things off?
Yeah, if we got so we're going to kind of just run this as seeing what more so as a Q&A. If you guys got questions on anything, if you got questions on classes upcoming, if you got questions on gear recommendations, if you got questions on guns, if you got questions on anything like that, throw them in the comments. We will answer them if they're specific to either one of us, or we'll both throw our 2 cents in there. Otherwise, we'll talk about a little bit about classes we got coming up. I know Matt's got some new stuff in the works. I've got some new stuff in the works as well. So we got some exciting stuff to talk about, but just kind of run it as a very informal meet up with everybody and before we kick off this year's training season.
Let's see. Well, looks like we got a decent number of people tuning in. So
yeah, good. More or less than the State of the Union right now?
Probably more. Wait, the State of the Union's tonight? Boy, that's clearly important. Oh, well.
I'm just going to monitor this on my laptop here, Matt. So why don't you go ahead and jump in real quick, Matt, while I pull this up and tell people what you got going on or what's in the works for you that you're ready to share. And
all right. Well, let's see. Lots of cool stuff going on. We're finally kicking off our training season starting at the end of the month here. Getting back into concealed carry because I took the winter off. We've got a couple other major projects that have been going on. Let's see what's going on. Concealed carry is going to be fun. It's going to be nice to get back into just teaching in general. We've got our women's fundamentals class and our concealed carry class coming up. We're going to be launching some new classes this year, which will be nice, especially for the guys that have gone through our basic pistol and carbine stuff. So you're going to start seeing our target anatomy courses pop up for pistol and for carbine. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be definitely very, very, and I'm going to use the term combat oriented. And I'm not talking about going to Fallujah or anything like that, but we're going to talk a lot more about why the hit zones are that we use and that we request from people. Are the ones that we do. So when we're talking about upper thoracic cavity, and then we're talking that central nervous system shot in the ocular window, why that is, and then we're going to actually put it to the test, not only on flat paper stationary targets, but on 3D targets, and then that's going to get integrated with some force-on-force stuff too. So not only are you going to be shooting the physical mechanics on a stationary target, you're going to get to do some cooler stuff with some movement. And our basic sniper course that we're going to be kicking off that we have in May, this is going to be the first year that we're going to actually make that open enrollment. So if anybody is interested in taking the 40-hour basic police course, you're more than welcome to. It's not a cheap course. It's 5 days. And yes, you have to attend the whole thing. So that's kind of that's the training side of it. And then, we'll talk about the other stuff here as the night progresses. So
that'd be cool. So that'll be an open enrollment then for that 40-hour basic sniper.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say it on the website, but it's an open enrollment course.
Nice. Good.
Yeah. The admins that freak out about stuff like that, I'm like, you can't let civilians into a basic sniper. Yes, I can.
Yeah. And we are.
Oh, you're kicking off your training season here fairly quickly, aren't you?
Yeah. We'll have concealed carry running. Same thing at the end of March, first week of April. And then we have a close quarters pistol class coming up at the end of April. That'll be with F2 training systems. So we'll run that. First half day of the class will be live fire, close quarters, and the second half of the class will be all empty hand skills, weapons retention, stuff like that. Force on force isn't the right word because we're not actually using simunitions, things like that. But we are going hands on for the grappling end of things, ground defense, stuff like that. F2, if you're not familiar with them, check them out on Instagram. They got a pretty good following over there. We're pulling in Bryce Frank and Frank Gardona. They'll be doing the class, the second half of the class there for the empty hand stuff. Second half of the day, that'll be a good class.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yep. We do have May 2nd through the 6th is the 40-hour firearms instructors course. It is a closed LE course, but if your department is looking to send you or you're looking to get your own way put through that through your department, hop on. That should be live on NITAB here any day. We're just waiting on the state's blessing of the curriculum, which we already have, but we're just waiting for them to rubber stamp it, which is always a process with them. But it is a go. It is happening May 2nd to the 6th.
Yeah, dealing with the state is interesting at best.
Yeah. Oh, and then April, also end of April, is Sons of Liberty AR-15 Armorers course. Our department's hosting them. They wanted to have that class open enrollment, so we went ahead and did that. So that is an open enrollment class, two-day course. It is all the sign up and everything is through Sons of Liberty, right direct on their website right there. So if that's something that you're looking at or had an interest in doing or had seen coming down, they very rarely make it to this neck of the woods. We're super excited to have them coming in and more excited to have that open enrollment as well. So jump on their website and take a look at that.
Yeah, I've been through a couple of AR Armorers courses over the years, and I want to get into that one if I can.
Yeah.
That's the goal anyway.
I'll save you a seat next to me.
Perfect. Beautiful. That's all right. I'll work on my Daniel defense in the Sons of Liberty class.
There you go.
It'll go over great. Actually, I feel like those guys are pretty easygoing fellas. All things.
Yeah, they are.
That'll be a nice one to get into. I went through Niemertz years ago, which was good.
Yeah,
great school. But I like to get the different exposure. I talked to a couple of guys went through Springfield Armories. I think it was Armalites. Sorry, Armalites, and
okay.
Theirs was okay. They said it was all right, but they only went so far with it, and I think I got more out of the Niemert class than they got out of that one.
Sure.
It was a big sales pitch for Armalite rifles, which nobody buys. But beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Anybody got any commentary or questions about things? Oh, Dave. Yeah. Dave, windows are what day is tomorrow? Wednesday? Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. New windows in front of the shop. Those will go in tomorrow. So the front facade will be pretty much where it needs to be until my signage comes up. Those who haven't heard yet, and it's not necessarily public knowledge, but it's not a secret. So the fact that you're paying attention, you get ahead on that one is I am getting my FFL, and I am opening a gun shop in the city of Rochelle. So I will be downtown in one of the little outskirt streets there, and we'll be running an FFL. We'll have ammo, guns, gear, you name it. We're going to have it in some form or function. Right now, we're still in the I'm in the build out phase. So I just picked up the building January of this year. So right now I'm in the process of doing the build out, building our display racks, windows going, new front windows that are a little bit higher security are going in on tomorrow. As soon as that gets done, good old Dave here is going to help me out with the floor. I'll get that done hopefully by the end of the weekend. I'll have the floor all in, ready to go. Racks will be going in. Racks are currently in the process of getting built. They're already cut up. I just finished staining them tonight. So the next couple of days will be assembly. And now I'm just trying to get all my dealers.
And will you actually be doing firearms transfers? Because it seems that pretty much no one else is.
Oh, yeah, I'll be doing transfers.
And the people that are charging about $50 a head or so on guns, and some places, if you order 2 or 3 guns, are charging you $50 each for each gun that comes in the door. So, and again, I'm not against anybody making money, but going from where we were at $10, $15 a few years ago up to $50 now, and it's $50 per gun, gets a little steep.
Yeah, I'm looking at $35 a gun. I haven't thought about multiple purchases right now. Fun fact to keep in mind, if you're going to buy more than one handgun, you immediately get the ATF gets immediately notified that you purchased more than one handgun at a time in a 7-day period. So I would, if you are going to buy multiple handguns, I'd recommend spacing them out, even if it's just a week or two a piece. Just 2 cents to throw out there. I know it's geared towards, criminal activity, and everybody that's probably following this page is probably squared away. But do you really want anybody else looking at you more than you need to?
One comment here from Dan. Dan's looking for openings for concealed carry renewal. Matt, I don't know what you'll have coming up for that. I'll have April 2nd and May 22nd. So, Dan, if either one of those work for you, I'll have that. But then whatever Matt has as well.
This Sunday, 9 a.m. So we got plenty of space. So if any of those dates work, send us a message. All that good jazz.
Yeah, we can get you taken care of for that.
I do have one conundrum for anybody that does sign up for my renewal. We qualify first, and this is a big one because some people have not taken this well when they've taken my renewal. If you can't pass the qualification first time out unassisted without any major safety violations, you get booted out of the class and you have to retake it. And you're not allowed to come take mine again until you've taken a basic pistol course from either me or somebody else, like Jared, for example. So just fair warning, if you haven't shot since you actually qualified with your concealed carry, I'm a bad person to sign on for.
And you think that Matt is joking, or you think that stuff like that doesn't happen, but same thing, I had a renewal here, I don't know how long ago it was, and a person showed up and barely made it through and said they had not shot since they took their original certification 5 years ago. You are so far behind the 8 ball and more of a liability than an asset to anyone who's depending on you. So you really need to think about what you're doing and why you're doing it and what other steps you need to take. And again, it's not a push for me or for Matt to fill a class with you. It is literally for your own safety or your family's.
Yeah, no joke, hands down. I teach everything up to and including SWAT, CQB, to anybody who really wants to learn it, to be completely honest with you. The scariest class I have ever taught are my renewal classes.
Yep.
As terrifying as that sounds, these are people that have been carrying guns for, in theory, up to 5 years. And they are the hands down scariest. I've had more guns pointed at me in my renewal classes than I have in everything else I've taught combined, which is terrifying on many, many levels. And I know Jared is the same mentality on this one as I am, which is why we both have shooting companies. If all you ever took for concealed carry was the actual concealed carry class and you never trained beyond that, you are so horrifyingly, woefully wrong. Get out, get some instruction, and learn how to run this thing under stress, because the qualification's a joke. It's a bullseye shoot, and a close bullseye shoot. And the bullseye is the size of a barn door.
And for those of you just now getting your 5-year renewal, keep in mind that the qualification is actually easier than when you took it 5 years ago. The state determined it was too hard, what it was, so they have now taken your minimum standard and made it even more minimum. So not too hard there.
No, not even a little bit. So, and I harp on this period with everybody who takes my classes anyway. Take additional classes. And I say this in my classes all the time, because I know I'm a salesman now, and yes, my soul is gone, and I've sold that for, when I started a business. But I say this in all of my classes, and I'll say this again in the future, is, take a class outside of the concealed carry. If you don't want to take with me because I'm obnoxious, that's cool. Jared's one of my recommended instructors that I say, go take a class with him. If you don't want to take one with me because you think I'm just in it for the cash, fine. I want to see safe shooters out there. Go with Jared and DMEC. Go with Spartan Tactical. Go with train with Krupa. Go to the site. Train with those guys. There's lots and lots of phenomenal instructors that come to the area that you should be taking advantage of. Because surprisingly, for Northern Illinois, for Commie, Illinois, there's a ton of great training that comes to the area. Sage Dynamics come to the area. Modern Samurai Project has come to the area. Centrifuge Training has come to the area. Haley, Strategic, Aurora Sportsman's Club hosts a bunch of phenomenal instructors in the area. If you're not training with anybody, that's 110% on you, because I know me and Jared, come spring, between me and you, there's probably some sort of training going on virtually every week this summer.
Oh, for sure. And if not, between the two of us, like you said, just between everybody else, between Aurora Sportsman's Club, Front Sight Solutions, there's a class to be in throughout the month, for sure, throughout the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can't say that you're not getting trained because it's not available.
Hey, one thing I did forget to mention, if I can figure out. So this gun is milled by Maple Leaf Solutions out of Texas, and we are now a proud affiliate for them. They set us up with a discount code, so if you get on and throw on the discount code DMECFT, so DMEC Firearms Training, save you $25 on your optic cut. That brings down your optic cut to a measly $100 total for your optic cut. You probably will not find a better place. They're super good guys down there that take good care of you, get your stuff turned around real quick. Their work is absolutely quality. Their fit to everything is meticulous. Super, obviously, highly recommend them. I've had multiple guns done by them. I've had other guys at work have guns done by them. Had zero issues so far. This one got the Hollow Sun 509T put on there. Irons forward configuration there, so we have closed emitter, irons forward configuration there, and they Cerakoted the slide there as well for me. We're starting a defensive red dot pistol class this year, and we will have loaner guns available for that. So if you are dot curious, if you're thinking, hey, is this right for me? Are my old eyes need to see things better? Do my young eyes want to get better, faster, quicker? A dot may be the way to go for you. We can get you on a dot in that class before you spend the money, and you can shoot a whole host of dot options before you go spend that money to see if it's actually if the juice is truly worth the squeeze. I do believe it is personally, but you got to come take the class for yourself to see if that's the case for you or not.
Everybody should be dot curious. I'm just saying. I made the switch, and I'm never gonna regret that decision. Wendy, yes, we definitely have loaner rifles in chain. Oh man, we've actually had a bunch of questions we haven't gotten to. All right, scrolling up. I ain't scared of the ATF. Josh, you have two big dogs that you plan on making money with. I hate to break it to you, the ATF kills dogs, so you might
shoot them. It's terrible.
It's a running joke, but they were just celebrating Waco today, so clearly they don't care.
Yeah, Wendy, Matt, and I both will have rifles, pistols, kind of. I mean, if we're teaching a class, we'll have a spare gun, pistol, rifle, whatever for the class. That's not a problem at all. And typically more than one. So again, you can get your hands on this make, this model, low power scope versus a red dot optic on a rifle, and you'll be taken care of either way.
Facts. Donna, good to hear it. Glad you made it in. Lots of classes this year. It's gonna be a good one.
Josh has a very good question there, Matt, that you need to address right now.
Will high points and I wish if they were legal to sell in the state of Illinois, I would gladly sell high points, if for nothing else, for a boat anchor for the outdoorsman.
For sure.
Yeah, sadly, strangely enough, high points are illegal for FFLs to sell in the state of Illinois.
Pete, I see your comment there. You just let your wife know that I'm doing my workout here the best I can. So you tell her you're welcome. She's welcome.
I have a new AFT. Wendy, I expect to see you in one of our classes then. They're Becky's dogs. Wow. Tough crowd in this group. Let's see.
When we go back to talking about training, I see one of the very first comments on here was Josh waving in. Josh has taken my proficient pistol course, I think, every single time I've taught it pretty much. And Josh shoots a lot. Josh probably shoots more than I do. Josh travels the United States shooting sometimes in his leagues. But again, he's getting back to the fundamentals. He's getting back to what everything is based on, and whatever other skill that he has is relative to and ultimately comes back to. And he's a shooter for sure. So good to see him. Good to see him on here, and good to see him out training every year too.
Yeah, he's taking a couple of my classes now too. Yeah, a bunch of the people on here have taken, so far that I've seen, have taken multiple classes of mine now at this point. So, thankfully, which doesn't really surprise me with this group for tuning in with us, because I figure if they're watching us, it's probably people that have been shooting with us for a little while anyway.
Right.
But, yeah, tell your friends this one. I know a big mission of what I've got going. The current one was full for two of us to sign up. Two-day class earlier, Mr. Can you talk about it again? Jared, you talked about a 2-day class earlier and he missed it. You want to fill him in on what you were talking about? 2-day
class. Randy, the only 2-day class I talked about was a AR-15 armorers course that's coming up in April. Sons of Liberty Gunworks is coming to our department, and they're hosting an open enrollment 2-day class for that. But that's the only thing I had talked about. Otherwise, everything I'm doing is up on my website right now. We'll add some more once I figure out my son's track schedule. I'm sorry, cross country schedule for the fall. Once I get some dates set for that, somewhere throughout the summer, we can add a couple more classes in. We'll put vehicle combatives back in there. That'll be a 2-day class. We'll add 1-day dynamic pistol movement, and then Wendy, hopefully adding another proficient pistol course in as well. Yes.
That already thought you were talking about the CQB course being a 2-part class. It's 1 day. It's just 2 different.
Oh yeah, that could have been Randy. That close quarters pistol class will be the first part of the morning will be a live fire portion. The second part of the day will be a hands-on portion. So that's what it was.
I know one of the things that I'm going to be pushing for this year and how I'm running things and everything going on in the shop is making the training more approachable for normal people to get into. Because I talk to lots of people that get their concealed carry that are very, very normal, non-type A personality, special Delta Ranger, whatever, dealer's choice. And that's definitely a big thing that I want to do. And I think me and Jared both do a very, very good job of that in our classes, of making it so they are approachable once you're there. But getting people and attracting new clientele that are apprehensive and don't know people that have taken classes and realize exactly the kind of instruction that we provide. That's going to be a big, big mission for what I've got going. I mean, next week I'm hosting a booth for Sip and Sell in Rochelle here. Where I'm going to throw up a booth. I'll sell holsters and stuff like that, but I'm going to have my laser pistols with, and I'm actually going to give hands-on instruction to normal people. Again, laser pistols. They're cert guns, so there's no bullets. But going to give people an opportunity of what they kind of get from a class and see if we can kind of introduce some more normal folk into classes that are more hesitant about dealing with, things like this. When they think gun class, they think Delta, SEAL, Navy, what have it, when the reality of it is most of my students, and I know yours as well, are fairly normal, run-of-the-mill type of folk.
Yep. Randy, I'm sorry, Dave, yeah, 509T on this one here. So that's their enclosed enclosed emitter rather. Yeah, that's the 509T there.
My department is actually getting me the Steiner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my duty kit, they're finally milling my actual service weapon instead of me having to use my personal one.
And milling, what are you guys carrying now? Is it still the VPs?
Yep. Okay. Yep. I think it's Ghost something or other. I'm drawing a blank. Tactically Sound Training. They are the ones that hooked me onto these guys. They custom mold holsters for anything. So anybody who wants to go the dot route, if you have a non-traditional pistol that doesn't fit in a typical Safari Land setup and you want to carry it for duty, they'll mold them to everything.
Let your department know when they're ready to mill out all them VP9s. I got a real good company out of Texas that does it for law enforcement, real cheap.
Oh, nice.
Maybe I haven't mentioned Maple Leaf Firearms yet at all. Yeah, they'll hook it up for the VP9s too.
What's the price on them?
LE's a little bit better price than what I said earlier, so we can talk.
Oh, yeah. Later.
Yeah, they'll do a whole department. If you're going to send them to the department, they'll set you up with a whole department discount code and run them all through that.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to be switching over 5 a year because my department had a hissy fit when they realized what it costs for equipment and everything goes with it.
Are they going all Steiners?
I think so. I think we'll probably end up going that route. We'll probably do a little bit more evaluation into it as time kind of progresses, but right now we're looking at the Steiners.
Matt Donna asked, "Where is your shop?"
I am not releasing that information just yet. It's in downtown. That's the most that I'll give out right now. But I will let that information out here a little later when I get a little closer, because right now a bunch of people like to stop in, and I always am down for visiting and love to have the visitors. The problem is I talk a lot. I don't know if anybody's picked up on that yet. And I get a lot less done when people keep coming down. So though I want everybody to come visit, and when the shop opens, by the way, there will be a coffee bar. And I expect people to come hang out and shoot the breeze with me all the time. Right now, I need to finish this freaking build out, and then I'll release that exact location wherever it is. Unless you buy something. If you buy something, then I'll let you know where it's at. But I'm not publicizing it just yet.
What are you looking at for opening date ish?
Mid-April, mid-end April.
Good.
Yeah. The ATF came through the other day. I left my dog at my parents' just in case, but
smart move.
I thought so. But I did. My initial interview went real well. My investigator is like, yeah, this looks good. I'm recommending you for your FFL. So he says like end of March-ish. And then supposedly the state process is actually pretty streamlined and pretty straightforward since the ATF did all the hard work. So
okay.
So as soon as that comes through, then I'll start doing transfers are easy, obviously. I'll start doing transfers, and then I'm going to start getting an inventory as quick as I can. And I currently have 5,000 rounds of 9mm getting shipped in here, so I don't know what the price is going to be just yet. I got to figure out what that retail price is going to be on that one, but I will have a bunch of 9mm in stock here. I think it's a delivered Friday, so
nice.
If anybody's looking for 9mm ammo, give me an email. We'll get you set up. So let's see. All right, 509T, intimidating. Becky, yeah, I thought it would be kind of cool having the laser guns for an interactive thing at the booth, because it's going to give people it's not just me talking at them, which I've done in the past, but it'll actually give them like a hands-on interactive thing that's safe to do, and they get to actually see what the instruction is going to be like, as opposed to going into a blind, especially with I think our classes are very appropriately priced for what we provide, but $150 or $200 tends to make people balk sometimes. So, and that's something that is changing with my classes, is the number of ROs, because that was definitely a common comment from a lot of people last year, was they liked having the extra, excuse me, they liked having the extra hands and safety on hand. So we're going to keep it to a 1 to 4-ish, 1 to 5-ish ratio of instructors and ROs, which is why the price went up, because I gotta pay all them folk. So,
What's the word out of Tennessee, Matt?
Slow and painful.
Yeah.
I'm actually going down there last week of March, because I just need to get away for a week. So 7 days of don't call me, don't text me, don't write me, don't nothing me. I'm gonna go down there and build the Porta-John, since I can't get a porta potty out there serviced, so I have to build one. But I'm going out there for that, and then I'm hoping for, depending on how things go with the shop, and if I've got part-timers hooked on so I can actually leave the state periodically, I'm hoping for a June, July launch date. Tiffany, if you're still watching, and I think you were earlier, that'll be probably her home range for the most part, since I'm going to be here dealing with everything down here. Tiffany will probably be running the Rogersville range for the most part. And her inaugural teaching class here is going to be not in March, our April, our ladies only defensive handgun class, our holster draw course. She went through our instructor. There you are. She went through our if you haven't heard about this, she went through our instructor development course last summer. And now that we're back in the teaching realm, that's going to be her apprenticeship course. So she's going to assist me, and then as we go through the course that day, she's going to start teaching some segments. So she's going to get some firsthand opportunity to be able to teach that one. So we're going to actually have and I know she's already said it, and we've both talked about it before, that she's going to come up to Chicago periodically for some of our courses. So we're going to have an opportunity to actually have, when we're teaching our ladies only classes, we're actually going to have a female instructor for it as well. So if anybody's, wondering like, oh, why is Gerard or Sammy teaching these ladies courses? Well, now we're going to have the opportunity to integrate that too. And if you don't know Tiffany, and we're going to do a live stream with her soon, introducing her, despite the fact that she is morally and completely objecting 100% to any sort of FaceTime online. We're going to get the intro out there because she's also a jiu-jitsu monstrosity. She's going to be handling all of our hand-to-hand control tactics, personal self-defense, women's self-defense. She's going to be running that whole program because she's a freaking whiz. It's terrifying, actually.
Nice.
So that's going to be pretty exciting. So you're going to start seeing some of that stuff pop up here in the next year. Me and her both have kind of a crazy spring coming up. So hopefully by summer, fall, you'll start seeing some of that stuff come down the pipe. But I'm hoping by the end of summer, she's going to be teaching solo. So we'll build her a cadre down in Tennessee. And once we get that cadre built, she'll be teaching some pistol courses out there out at the mountain. Let's see. Let's see. Boo, down a message. I'll tell you. 59. Play the passes somehow. Send scaredy cat friends of mine. Becky, they better show up to that. It's gonna be a good time. Get to hang out at the distillery for a couple hours, and and if you want to, you still need to pick up your 365 holster. So swing on by the booth. We'll set you up then. But Tennessee's going to be fun once we get that going. Serious question. Both of your favorite full-size handgun. Jared, why don't you kick that one off? What's your favorite full-size handgun?
I am pretty much fully committed to the M&P line now. Favorite full-size, this guy right here. 5-inch Smith RMR on it. This is the 2.0. This cut was done by ATEI, did the front serrations there and what have you as well. I got this gun done about 3 years ago. It's been to and through just about every class with me, and I am really hooked on the M&P line. Are there better and more expensive guns out there? Absolutely so. You can shoot a STI or 2011 of other flavors, and those things would happen, yeah, and you maybe could shoot them better. But when I've gone to classes and myself ran M&Ps and had other guys shooting M&Ps and keeping up with those other guys who are running $2,000 and $3,000 guns, I'm very happy with the way that M&P did this gun, and that's my favorite full size. I've got the 5-inch and the 4-inch, and they go everywhere with me for sure. Smith & Wesson gang right here.
I forgot to change into the other hoodie because this is my Stainin hoodie, but I'm still pretty much a diehard HK guy. The ergonomics are great. The reliability is great. I mean, the M&P is in the same category. They're guns that just work. You're right. Like the STIs, some of the other stuff that's out there. Yeah, you can get one that shoots super lights out, but the reality of it is I've never seen a depreciable change from me shooting my VP versus any of these Mac Daddy $3,000 guns. And for a $600-700 pistol, it's got everything that you need. I like mine from the fact that it's very, very ambidextrous. I like the European style mag releases.
I do. That is one thing I do love and always have loved on the M&P line, around the H&K line, is the mag release for sure.
Yeah. My only gripe, I guess, and I've said this for years about the VPs, is my big gripe with them is, well, there's two of them. The checkering on them is garbage. The grip, it needs to get stippled, but they're wonky material, so a lot of the stipplers won't touch them or screw them up. And for some reason, the slide lock, it's in a wonky position. So with a thumbs forward, modern gunfighting grip, my pistol will not lock to the rear to save my life. Drives me bonkers.
But that sweet trigger it has, though, kind of outweighs that.
It's definitely a selling point for sure. But the ergonomics on it, the comfort level, the fact that it's got 3 grip replacements for the left, right, and the back strap, so you can kind of crank that sucker down. I don't think I have particularly small hands, but I still put all the small size on it just because I want as much contact on that frame as I can get, just to keep that thing leveled down, especially for higher rates of fire stuff. But from a reliability standpoint, affordability, it's really not bad. HK, I mean, the magazines are almost affordable compared to like the USPs, which were $70 a piece. These are only like 35, which still sucks, but I don't mind dumping them. I have a dozen of them floating around now. 9mm shoots soft. HK finally got their heads out of their butts and put a 17-round mag in them too. So yay! Now that it's milled and runs a dot, I mean, I can't really complain too much. Anybody who picks it up shoots it really well. I use my extra one as a loaner gun all the time for classes, and everybody who shoots goes, "Oh, I need one of these."
Yeah, same thing. Same thing. When I bring mine out, I've got a lot of people who I got the full size, but a lot of people have gone out and bought the compact for concealed carry just because after shooting for conceal or for qualifications or whatever the case is, that gun turns a lot of people on. Matt, here's a question. We'll let you go at first. Bill here got a new AR-15 and needs a sling for it. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to be carrying Zulu nylon gears and probably Magpoles. Honestly, the Magpole sling setup, a 2-pointer, it's kind of the way to go. It has a slide buckle on it, so you can just extend it, stretch it out to get it a little wider if you need to move around or negotiate, or if you want to just let it hang, cinch that sucker down, and it tightens up. I'm a firm believer in 2-point slings. 1-points are stupid. Yeah, 1-points are stupid. The only thing nice about them is doing transitions from right-handed to left-hand. I loathe them. Loathe them like the plague. It's a good way to not have kids in the future. But yeah, I like 2 points. 3 points are ungodly complicated for no reason whatsoever. Simple 2-point with a buckle that extends it and shrinks it up. That's my way to go.
Yeah.
Zulu nylon gear is cool. They're a little narrow, so they tend to wear if you have to wear it for a full day course. The Magpole's like 1.5 inches, 2 inches wide. Super comfortable. It's kind of my go-to for those kind of slings now.
Bill, I'll echo what Matt said there with for sure with the 2-point. Stay away from the 1-points. In 1990 called and wants it sling back if you're running 1-point sling still. So run a 2-point sling, super easy to swim out of. There are so many slings out there. I have personally come to like the Blue Alpha gear, especially the Larry Vickers ones that they went with Larry. A little bit more pricey than like your Magpole and stuff, but I got a Magpole on a gun right behind me right here. I have 0 grapes with it whatsoever. I've got another one on a gun here. I've got 2 or 3 Blue Alphas. Like you said, Zulu nylon gear makes a real good sling. Centrifuge training throwing sling out there. There's lots of good slings out there. But yeah, if you run with a Blue Alpha, a Magpole, a Zulu nylon gear, either one of those 3 in a dual point setup, whether you're running it weaved onto the gun or whether you're running it like a QD setup or Magpole has the fast clips, those types of things. Whatever your gun set up for, however you're going to do it, those would be our recommendations there. Blue Alpha, Magpole, and then Zulu nylon gear. But again, a lot of good options out there for slings. Go with the 2-point.
Downrange hoodie. I'm working on there will be downrange hoodies being produced here shortly, Donna, I promise. They are coming down the pipe. And by the way, when we get the shop open, I plan on buying a bunch of Jared shirts too. So if you want to support DMEC, I'm not going to cry too hard. You can buy that stuff here. You'll be able to buy that stuff here as well. Vickers Tactical, yes, good slings. Jared, you have 2 openings for your Rifle 1 course.
Yes.
There you go. And I've got a bunch of carbine courses coming up. The one this Saturday is getting canceled just because I only have 2 signups. I'm guessing the cold weather didn't help that one. But Rifle 1 and Rifle 2 are coming up in April. I'd have to look. I can't remember.
Donna, I see your question. Where else would you recommend carrying besides your waist? We need you to be maybe a hair bit more specific as to maybe what you're trying to do, if it's just because of your everyday clothing or because of business, professional, or however you're dressing. But I mean, other than your waist on your body, you're going to be kind of limited to either an ankle holster or running some type of like a holster shirt where they have the cutouts at the armpits for a holster shirt. Other than that, I mean, even if you're running inside the waistband, outside the waistband, appendix, some type of like the what am I trying to say? Filster, like the Enigma, something like that. You're generally going to be pretty limited to the waistband-ish area. Kind of just depends on, are you wanting inside the waistband, outside the waistband, not the waistband at all? If you're not waistband at all, then you're kind of ankle or some type of holster cutout, and then or an off-body carry type of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you can figure out a way to make waistband work, I highly suggest it. Or inner thigh, depending. because I know bicycle shorts are super popular with ladies. We're actually going to do we're going to do an in-house training event on women's carry here at the shop some point in the next 2 months or so, when there's open space reliably all the time. We're going to do some stuff on that one specifically based on clothing and whatnot. My suggestion, and Jared, I think, was kind of touching on a little bit too, is if you can figure out to get past how to make appendix work. Appendix works for lots and lots more body types than people realize, especially depending on the pistol. If you can make that work, it's probably the most secure. I know a little bit about your background there too, and you probably security while you're carrying is probably a huge component of that. The nice thing about appendix is it's not behind you, so you're always going to have your hands in the vicinity of where that's going to be. So unless your shirt pops up, you're gonna be able to kind of manhandle and control that. And that's kind of why I made the switch over, is because it's 100%. You always know if you're covered. You always know if you're concealed. You can always have access to it, driving, sitting, standing, whatever. That's kind of why I made that switch to it. And depending on what your body type is, and if you go to, speaking of Fister, if you go on their website, they actually have a tutorial on how to carry based on all of your body types that are kind of available, which is super handy. I posted it a few times over the years.
Bill, a couple here things on slings. Another vote for Vickers Tactical, and then a vote for VTAC. So Kyle Lamb over at Viking Tactics, great sling as well. So not a couple other options, but another option there for VTAC. Heath Mashburn, what is ITAR for the AR course?
ITAR doesn't apply to anything here. ITAR is about selling military style equipment overseas. So
for the signups, if it's for the signups, Keith, don't worry about, or Heath, I'm sorry, don't worry about anything like that at all. You can go ahead and go. You're setting up a secret gun vault for a customer looking for display storage workbench ideas. There's a lot out there. Behind me, you can see this is a hold up displays. You can go on their website and take a look at them. You can do the entire wall of that. You can do a short section. There's a lot of different ways you can make that work. I built my own workbench just because I wanted something stout and sturdy. I'm sure there's others you could buy, but I don't know of any, I should say. But Hold Up Displays does a real good job behind here, but there's a few different companies out there like this that do kind of the same thing as well. If you want a real good look at a good display, go out to D5 in Marengo, and they got a pretty cool display. It's pretty similar to what this is. I don't know what brand theirs is, but they display real nice.
And I'm a retailer for Hold Up Displays.
Hey, how about that now?
Hey, I actually have a bunch of their stuff on hand because I'm using that for my displays, because all of my rifle racks and pistol racks are going to be floating, so everything is going to be midair, so you can pick them up, and it's going to be pretty cool.
Shane chimed in. Blue Force Gear makes a nice sling as well. Shane, that's a fact, and Blue Force Gear makes everything nice.
They do. I actually bought those for our department rifles. We went with the Blue Force Gear option. Yep. When we brought them all out, and those ended up being the favorite for people. Ashley can't wait for the rifle classes. Yeah, you've taken everything else I have to offer. It's about time you get into the rifle courses. And then Jared courses too this year.
Come on, Ashley. I'll take you.
I think you went through 11 classes last year.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I had 3 or 4 people that ended up going through north of 10 classes with me last year. It was a good year. Fun year.
And we talk about slings. One thing you guys and gals should be thinking about is sling management as well, of how you're going to store that sling to now, whether you're wanting to just keep this simple in the safe, if you want to keep something simple within your safe, or if you're wanting to, if you're LE and you need it in the vehicle bound, or your whatever your application to it is, you're out walking the field, coyote hunt, whatever the case is. There's several companies out there that make something similar to this. This one here is this is a clear rifle tube, by the way, for you safety Nazis, which you should be. But this one right here is made by, I'm going to draw the blank now on it, Sentry. So Neil Mag makes this one right here, but it's just a simple magnet right there that keeps your sling slung until you're ready for it. You rip it off and go, and your sling is deployed. So the way this works, goes right here. So your sling is tight against the gun. When you're ready for it, you just grab it right here and rip it. Comes right off. Now you're ready to sling the sling around you as well. So keep that in mind if you're looking for slings, or if you're ready to further accessorize and want to put something else on there. Neomag makes a really good one. I think theirs is kind of the best one I've found so far. But not Raven Concealment. Who's the other one there? The other Bird, Forward Control Designs. They make some stuff out there as well. A good old Ranger band, and I've seen even rubber bands work for that as well. So there's certainly options, but keep something like that in mind, because that I have found those to be pretty invaluable for what they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, purpose-built products work better than, well, what I'm doing currently. So my work rifle, I actually have it set up it's actually a pistol. So I have it set up for the arm brace. So the Velcro strap is actually what's holding my sling in. Yep. It works. It's just not great. So if you can get yourself a purpose-built, get something that's actual purpose, like designed for the mission, instead of ghetto fabbing things because I'm stingy. At least I'm honest.
Oh, what else we got here?
Too much stuff. Let's see, what else do we got planning going? Oh, our kids class are going to be kicking off probably in April. Somebody was asking me about that this morning. I'm going to try to get with Sammy this year and offer more than just the one course, which is still fun. Everybody that's taken it has, I don't think we've had a complaint or a negative review so far from that one. And our kids class is, as the youngest we've had is, I want to say 5 for sure, but we may have had a 4-year-old in class now. Up through, I think 15 is the oldest that we've had come through there. So the full gamut of the age range. Yep. We're going to try to add some additional stuff. So we'll probably have another one. So for the younger kids, to kind of change things up for them. And I think we're going to try to get something for the older 12 and up, 10 and up, 12 and up neck of the woods. I got to get with Sammy on that, decide what he wants to do specifically for that one, because I think that's going to be his neck of the woods here. But
it's been a couple of years since I've done one. COVID kind of, usually I'd run them during the winter time, and COVID shut me down on it last year, and the surgery shut me down on it this year. So I need to get back to them. But folks, if you got kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, the neighbor boy, whoever, I mean, find a class. The kids absolutely go bonkers over this stuff. Mine's not a live fire. I know Matt's going to dabble in the live fire portion. Mine's just a safety. Come in, hear the safety. If you find a gun, if you see a gun, if this happens, and we've had kids in class that literally were at the playground playing and found a gun, laying there. So I mean, they're great classes. We do giveaways in class. They're fantastic. So if that's something that's applicable to a youngster in your life, definitely seek out one of those classes, because they are fantastic. Always a good time.
Yeah, ours is live fire geared. A huge chunk of it's safety. Ashley can speak for me. Did you go through it once or twice, Ashley? I can't even remember now. Gorgeous Jared on a live stream. Ours, we supply Ruger 1022s with red dots on them. Keeps it nice and simple, nice and easy to work with. And we're going to expand to hopefully be able to have a couple more guns next time. So you are gorgeous, Jared. I want you to know that.
Speaking of, we talk about supporting small business. Zach Gross from House of Shine. He's a car detailer in Rockford. Now, when I say a car detailer, this isn't like some guy that's going out and buying a bucket of turtle wax over at the Farm and Fleet and getting after your car. Zach was a professional detailer for, Zach, you got to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe for the Meekum family. Not like for the Meekum auctions, but a professional personal detailer for the Meekum family themselves. Look on his face, on his place up on Facebook, House of Shine. You will see absolutely insane car detailing, because if there's anything that goes good with guns, it's typically cars and car collectors, because why not put two expensive hobbies together? So make sure you look up my guy Zach there and get your car ready to shine here this year.
Man, we're throwing everybody in here. I gotta call out Ashley then. She's my local massage therapist, so if you need to, look her up, because she's kind of awesome. And plus, me and her have been working together this whole last year on pretty much everything.
What we do, take care of each other, right?
Heck yeah. You should see everything we got going for the downtown right here in Rochelle. Me and there's a lot of balls in the air right now. There's a lot of cool stuff that you're going to be expecting to see, in a lot of collaborations with a lot of the other the companies.
Looks like I don't have the dates right offhand, but I believe it's June 18th, 19th, that weekend, somewhere in there. Pecatonicus having their annual gun show. If we can, I plan to have a table there and boatloads of ammunition to sell at Farm and Fleet or better prices. So keep that in mind as well. I can scrounge as much as I can. I called actually yesterday trying to get another load in, and they're out of 9mm right now. So I'm waiting another couple weeks to try and get a big order in, but we'll get some more. Not that I'm beating Matt out of ammo at all. He's got 9mm, but I'm going to have 9mm as well, and then some rifle stuff as well. Hopefully some hollow point personal defense duty ammunition as well. So between the two of us, we can get you taken care of for ammunition.
Yeah, I may just have to get a booth right next to him and be obnoxious and throw stuff at him.
I think we just do it together.
I'm totally supportive of this.
Yep. Put a booth out, sell ammo, sell classes, talk training.
Heck yeah, man. I'll bring the cert guns. We can do demos and stuff.
I'd kind of take the Pecatonica Gun Show from here. Because typically for the last few years, unless you just want a overpriced old shotgun that's found in the back of a barn or a Chinese-made knife, that's about what you're getting at the Pecatonica Gun Show. Ever since Jake Feldhaus stopped selling guns there, the place is kind of tanked.
I know. I miss Jake's FFL.
Yes.
When everything gets delivered right to the quarry, I'm like, this is great. This is the best life ever.
Mike, what is the date of the gun show? Mike, I'm streaming on my phone right now. Actually, I think I can pull it up on my laptop here. Give me a second. Don't quote me on it, Mike, but I want to say it's June 17th, 18th, and 19th. It usually starts on a Friday night for like a 2 or 3 hour preview kind of sale, and then it runs all day Saturday, all day Sunday. So I want to say online is what they'd said, the 17th, 18th, and 19th, and that is in Pecatonica at the fairgrounds. Zach, shoot me a text there, and I can get you some set aside there, whatever you need. How great is it to see Ukraine pulling up trucks on the middle of a downtown road and just starting to hand out AK-47s to their civilians who are willing to stand and fight for freedom? How awesome is that?
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. And FYI, because I was talking about this with Anthony O'Brien earlier today, not to use a horrifying tragedy like this to sell classes, but if you don't own a rifle and don't have training on it, you're wrong. Because it's in Ukraine now, but this is Russia and China we're talking about. You're thinking that things can't go sideways on you? Might be the right time to get yourself a rifle and learn how to run it.
Zach Gross, what do you guys predict the market will be this time next year for guns? My personal prediction is going to be this, Zach, that guns really never were the issue. Right at the start of the pandemic, right at the start of COVID, when the peaceful protests and stuff like that all started really kicking off heavy, guns kind of were at a premium, but guns came back pretty quick. So it really never has been a problem getting guns. Ammunition obviously has been a whole different story, and that was the biggest burden. The problem on the gun side of things is if you just bought your first AR-15 that was manufactured during the COVID pandemic, you probably got a subpar gun, and that's regardless of what manufacturer you got. There was a ton of quality control cut trying to push those guns out and get them to market, and that's been seen across the board, across major manufacturers. I know I personally saw that. I built a couple for people during the pandemic. And I'm talking like getting lowers in that didn't even have detent holes milled and drilled in them. I mean, not like minor stuff that, the bluing was off or this didn't adhere. I mean, this is major stuff that's happening. So I don't really see anything changing gun wise personally, just because I think if it did, it probably would have already happened and we'd still be living through it. But ammunition is going to still remain the source of contention.
Unless you want AKs. AKs might be a little thin.
But yeah, AK and AK ammo, that's over with now. So our comrades out there, McGuire's not on here right now, but our comrade McGuire, he's at home right now crying his Russian tears, no doubt.
That's true. Can't confirm. I've got an AK sitting in my safe right now. That's a lot of fun to play with. And my last 500 rounds.
But yeah, Zach. Otherwise, guns should be holding steady and availability should be fine. In my opinion, for the foreseeable future here.
I agree. I think quality control is coming back now that the initial COVID end of the world scare is over. they're back to kind of, par for the course. The big thing you run into, though, from what I've seen from quality control, is most people don't know what a quality AR is to begin with. Because there's a lot of junk out there. I mean, there's a lot of junk out there, and there's brands that sell themselves as premium guns that are just rack grade guns with a high price tag.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start gun bashing, but that's a longer conversation to have, specifically when you're talking like quality on pistols and rifles and all that good jazz. But
yeah, and
one-on-one.
Zach, when you say, is it a bigger concern in today's world? I don't think it's a bigger concern. I think it's I think it's a big concern to a small number of companies. I think there's a small number of companies, and you look at guys like, and again, we're not going to gun bash, and I'm not going to get on here and say this brand over that brand. But when you look at guys like Sons of Liberty Gun Works, they pride themselves on every single gun being perfectly spec'd out, being tight tolerances, no tolerance stacking. I mean, all those things that you look at, all that kind of nerd talk and gear talk there, when you look at companies like that, or when you look at like a Chambers custom 1911. I mean, you're talking, this guy puts out, I think it's like 20 guns a year that he hand builds. You're paying for it. So yeah, I think that quality concern is a big issue, but it's a big issue to a small number of companies. And again, that's me personally talking.
I would concur with that statement. Put it into perspective, and Uncle Mike here can confirm on my last rifle course, because I carry a chamber gauge and a reamer with me at every rifle course that I put on, and I spec anybody that's having malfunction issues. And I'd say 90% of the guns that I have put my hands on, and I put a chamber gauge in there, are not actually 5.56 chambers. Very, very, very few of them are. If you didn't spend north of $1,000 on your rifle, you probably don't have a spec chamber. Fun fact. And we can get into the nerd talk about why that is. If anybody's like that interested, feel free to pipe up, and I'll give that song and dance lecture. But that's just the nature of the beast. And rack grade rifles, it's just what you're getting, because that's why they cost $800, $900 for a gun, which seems like a lot. But when you're talking some of the more custom built guns, like Sons of Liberty Gun Works builds a bargain priced gun for a quality gun price. I mean, or we're getting a quality gun, because I think their base model gun's like $950. It's nothing.
And when we talk stuff like that, when we say stuff about like a rack grade rifle, everything has context, and everybody has a budget. And some of you's budget is a $500 Kyle Rittenhouse special off of Palmetto State Armory. And if that's the case, then so be it, and run that until your budget allows more. But some of you who are kicking indoors for a living, and depending on that gun to go bang, and depending on that gun to be spec'd out quality every single time, and the one day you decide to pull the trigger on your $500 gun and it doesn't go bang, and maybe that $1,000 gun would have gone bang, and that's kind of the wrong time to be finding that out, that, hey, I probably should have ponied up the extra few bucks here, because it's only my life that's be dependent on that. If this gun has never seen anything other than the bench at the range, and you're plinking with your buddies in your backyard with it, you can get by with a $500-$600 rifle all day long. When it's going click, when the bad guy's gun is going bang back at you, it's a bad spot to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So context is everything, and what your mission is. You always heard that saying that mission drives the gear, and it's true.
Mm-hmm. And frankly, if it's a choice between buying a $1,800 Mac Daddy rifle and an $600 rifle with $1,000 worth of ammunition, if those are your two options, get the cheaper rifle with more ammo and learn how to run it, because all the fancy toys in the world, and like you said, mission drives equipment, and your personal circumstances is what's going to drive your decision-making process. Learn to run the gun. My first rifle that I used for years was a dumpster fire, horrible PSA reject kit. That's how I learned how to run learn how to run an AR, was on that gun. My next one was a much, much nicer build. And now I'm running a Daniel Defense, which has been nothing but phenomenal for me since I got it. If you've never spent much time behind a rifle, if you can afford the Mac Daddy and $1,000 in ammo, do that. But if your budget doesn't quite allow that big of an investment to get into it, get yourself a rifle you can afford and as much ammunition as you can scrounge up, because frankly, taking a bunch of classes with a rack grade rifle that survives all those classes is going to do infinitely better than spending money on the higher end stuff. But like Jared was saying, if you do this for a living, like carrying a gun is part of your like mission in life, it's not just your life that depends on that rifle, it's whoever you're going to save. Remember that, because boy, would it suck to have to break into a hospital.
Matt, I lost you. I don't know if other people lost you or not too, but I lost you there. And you're froze.
Jared, you still there?
I lost you. Am I still here or are you gone?
It just blinked out for a second there. Okay. Very, very random.
Fun fact, I was at a rifle class down at Adamex, Matt, when Adamex was still running. I was down there about 5 years ago. The guy shows up. He was a U.S. Marshal. At the time, he was since retired. But he had a brand new Daniel Defense aim point, everything. I mean, just to the nines. But he was running QD slings, and he had bought some. All he could find was a QD mount off of eBay, and bought that. Well, it clearly was out of spec, and brand new rifle broke itself free from his QD sling there and dropped directly on the. I don't know if he was running a brake or if he had just a bird cage on, whatever he had, but dropped a brand new gun, hadn't even been shot yet, dropped it directly from about shoulder height right on the crown of the. It definitely a pucker moment. That one hurt to watch.
Yeah, it needed a battle scar anyway.
It got it that day.
Mm-hmm. I miss Adamex. I wish they were still open. Oh, Tiffany said that I blacked out when we came back with last words were, "Man, would it suck." Yeah, I was saying if you respond to like a hostage situation, something like that, somebody's kidnapped somebody, whatever, and your rifle doesn't go bang and the hostage gets smoked, that would really suck. That applies to law enforcement, military, anybody in that situation. God forbid somebody breaks into your house. Boy, would that suck if your gear doesn't work when you want it to. So if you're using for personal protection, it's usually worth the better investment. I say that especially about concealed carry guns. If you can afford to take the class, get the permit, buy ammo, train, you probably want to get something a little better than a high point special.
How about a Raven or a Jennings? And again, I get everybody has a budget. I know that. But before I see you spend $200, you can save up an extra $100 and get something a whole lot gooder. But that's another topic for another live stream.
Yeah. That's actually going to be the nature of how this shop is going to work. Is I'm probably not going to have a lot of flashy guns. You're going to see a lot of practical. The whole shop revolves around good training and good information. So you're going to see a lot of good quality guns. We are going to have probably a budget minded gun out there for that person that they're just in the pits. They don't have the cash available. An emergency's popped up. They need to be able to protect themselves. When you buy that gun from me, you're going to get a package of dummy rounds for free with it. And I'm going to teach you how to do malfunction drills before you ever leave the store. If you buy it, you're going to be learning malfunction drills. You can order whatever you want to through me or get anything transferred that you want through me. But what I'm actually going to keep on the shelves are going to be quality firearms. And that includes going on like Aim Surplus and getting their and picking up a bunch of their trade-in Glocks when they pop up, because they're like $300.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot of budget pistols that are much cheaper than that you're going to be able to get a hold of. That's going to be more reliable than, Gen 3, Gen 4, Glock 19, Glock 17s.
And some people still want to shoot 40s too. So there's that.
Yeah, that does pop up. Go shoot every weekend, either before shop days or after. I want a night training with my ADC. Yeah, I want to try to do a night shoot this year too. I'd like to do some night vision stuff, but that's a bigger animal. Are you going to have an MP5? Wendy, you haven't been to any of our outdoor shoot things. I every now and again I'll pull out one of the MP5s from work. So we'll have a little full auto fun. But the goal by the end of the year is to get my SOT. So And if I can, I'm planning on buying the MP5s from my agency. So if I do, I'll actually have those on hand, and we'll try to do a machine gun shoot every year. 9mm easy. Okay, so the 9mm EZs, you're talking the Smith and Wesson M&Ps, the Shield EZs. So here's what I've seen in classes. This is what I've read. This is what I've seen firsthand now. I do not like the Shield EZs, period, for a couple reasons. One, I hate grip safeties because, generally speaking, if you're involved in a close quarters shooting, it's your worst day of your life. So the odds of you having a perfect grip on it are pretty nil. The other problem is that high tang, thumbs forward grip, having a high tang on an EZ has a tendency of not actually activating the grip safety properly. I want to say that 75% of the people that have come through with EZs, when we teach them the grip properly, the pistol will not function. We actually have to modify it to a less than ideal grip in order to get it function properly. The problem is that less than ideal grip has no point of index. It's literally just, all right, grab it and then lower your hand a little bit, and that's where you're going to grip from. Can you train it? Probably. 99% of the people that I know that have guns, though, don't train like that. And I mean like daily dry fire, at least weekly dry fire. They're not doing that. That problem with that big kick in the butt with that EZ is, and this is the same problem with XDs as well from the Springfield world, is if your grip is less than ideal, the gun will not go off. I can grab my pistol with thumb and index finger. My buddy Zach has actually taught me a drill specifically about that, where you can fire the pistol with these two fingers and it'll go off and you can control that first round for sure. Maybe rapid fire is not going to happen. But the problem is if you have a less than ideal grip because you're grappling, you're fighting over the pistol, whatever, that problem with that EZ is if you don't get that grip safety closed properly, that gun is not going to do you any good. So I do not typically recommend that for a home defense or concealed carry pistol. If you want to use it on the range to practice, just because it's you don't have the grip strength to run the slide, I'm on board with that. But get a regular M&P shield for actual protection and carry purposes, because the shields run like champs. I mean, they're great pistols.
I would be on board with what Matt said too. I think initially I thought that Springfield or that Smith might have knocked it out of the park with the EZ. I liked the concept. I liked their idea why they're targeting a specific area that needed targeting. But the addition of backstrap safety was horrendous in that case. If they could have left that off, and what Matt said is absolutely true. I've seen enough issues with that as well that they made that gun for shooters who have a hard time racking the slide on a standard gun. So they made that easier, but at the same time made it harder. So you're targeting a gun for people who maybe grip isn't what it used to be, or grip is suffering for racking the gun, but then that same grip has to hold that gun, which now has to defeat a backstrap safety. And just seen enough issues out of them that unless you're really doing it right on that gun, and it's tough to do, not a huge fan. Does it still fit the bill for some people? Do some people still need the gun? Yes, and I get that and I understand that, but overall, hasn't been the magic bullet that everybody maybe thought it would have been or was hoping it would have been for that.
Yes, I agree with that completely. It serves a very specific purpose. If you have any physical infirmities that don't let you cycle in action properly, or have issues with stuff like that, it's the only option really, because there's very few that have soft, easy to cycle frames that are worth anything in the way of reliability. So it definitely serves that purpose. That being said, if it's because you do have some sort of injury, whatever, yes, absolutely run it. It's probably gonna be the best option you're gonna have available to you. If you're just a little weak, whatever, get yourself one of them little squeezy toys, get one of them grip strength gears, and start doing that when you're you're eating your Wheaties in the morning. Give it a couple of squeezes every day to get that grip strength up. I know Jared teaches this because I've seen him do it. I teach it as well. Ways that you can rack a slide that's a little heavier than you're capable of just by changing some body positions and using some body mechanics to get those running. But I'd prefer going that way. And from a home defense standpoint too, bigger guns typically have easier to rack slides. Fun fact. So if you're talking home defense where you don't have to conceal it on your person, maybe consider getting a bigger gun like an M&P 2.0, an HK VP9, a Walther PPQ, dealer's choice, Glock 19, Glock 17, take your pick. Because the reality is racking those does not take a ton of body strength. And the bigger the guns typically that are running, especially that are running like 9mm that have fairly light recoil springs, just because of the amount of mass involved, that recoil spring is probably pretty soft. So it'll probably be a fairly easy cycling just by using a bigger sized gun, as long as it fits in your hand.
Bigger gun, more bullets too. I like me some more bullets.
Mm-hmm. The only time you can have too much ammunition is if you're swimming or on fire. Yeah, the force on force class, Wendy, is a ton of fun. We're going to do more of those this year. And then I'm hoping by fall, don't hold your breath, it might be next year. I'm planning on having a Breaking Tiffany out too. And we're going to have our close quarters pistol course. The back end of that will be with the airsoft gun. So we'll actually get to shoot at each other a little bit with airsoft in contact in a contact environment to see exactly what works, what doesn't. You'll get to actually vet exactly what you're working on. And, it'll be a great follow on to, jump into Jared's class this year and then follow it up with ours when we get it into place. So you can actually put a lot of that stuff into practice. Night vision is crazy money. Yeah, but worth it. I got Anthony sucked into it finally because I let him play with my PVS 14 the other day. So he just bought himself a rig.
All right, Matt, start with this one here from Zach. EDC, so everyday carry holsters. Give them your love it, give them your like it, and give them your hate it in that order and why.
My love it. I carry full size for the most part. I carry my VP9 with a TLR1, so I'm usually running the Fister Floodlight. I love it from the standpoint of it is the only universal holster I will back at all because it indexes off of the light versus off of the actual pistol, so I can run any full-size pistol off of it. Oh, is that it right there? Mine's in the other room.
This is the out-of-the-waistband version, but yes.
Mm-hmm. Super awesome. Great holster, super durable. I've been carrying that for about 1.5 years now, and I love every bit of it.
So, Zach, what he's saying before Matt goes on, what he's saying is this is the Fister Floodlight. Okay, so it indexes and the retention comes from off of the light. It has to be a light-bearing holster. So if you can see here, and I'm messing up how my camera does it here. If you can see here, Smith & Wesson 2.0 goes in the holster and locks up nice and smooth. Okay, if we take a Glock 17, so completely different gun, same exact holster and change nothing, slides right in, locks up as well. Okay, because it's 100% based off the fact that this gun has a TLR1 on the gun and has nothing to do with the holster itself. And I agree with Matt. They're not my love it, but they're absolutely the best universal style option that's out there.
Mm-hmm. For my
it's, what, 20 different guns, Matt? Something like that?
Yeah, it's any full-size gun. I think I think a Beretta 92A3 fits in there, and that's a long freaking gun. We're going to find out in about 10 seconds.
Beretta does fit. There's no light on this one. Pokes out a little bit there at the end of it there, but obviously no light, but it does fit otherwise in there.
I've got my Langdon Tactical that needs a TLR1.
This is just a 92A1 here, not the 90, whatever one you would throw out, but it does fit.
Yeah, the A3 or whatever.
Yeah. There's your love it then. What's next?
The tier 1 is probably in the way a custom single gun setup, the tier 1s are probably the Cadillac of Kydex holsters as far as I'm concerned. I love that setup. I run with one. I'm going to get one when I get a 365 XL this year because that'll be transitioned to my running pistol. Right now I'm using a Glock 43, I think. They work great. Throw a wedge on the bottom of those bad boys, they just disappear. They're freaking awesome. And flashlights, TLR1. It's tough to beat a TLR1 light for the money. It's what, $110 for one right now. Ton of light. I think if it's not 1,000 lumens, I'd be shocked.
TLR ones are 800 lumens, I believe, if memory serves me correct.
The Surefire 300Us or whatever are probably a better light, but they're also 3.5 times the cost. I want to say the 300s are 300 or $350. That's a little hard for me to swallow for a pistol light.
Pete, to me, Pete, and Zach, I'll get back to your question here in a second on holsters, but since we jumped over to lights here, for a pistol light, and to me, there's a big difference in a pistol light and a rifle light. For me, in a pistol light, there's zero reason to not run a TLR. They have been bomb-proof. They hold up for the money that you're going to spend on them. They're fantastic. The Surefires are fantastic. The mod lights are great, but do I really need a $400 pistol light on my pistol to show stuff out at 200 yards when some people have a hard time hitting the broadside of a barn at 50 yards, and some people are so awful they couldn't commit suicide with a gun. So pistol lights. Rifle lights, different story. And we get into that another time here, but for pistol lights, TLR ones are great. Surefires are great. O lights are absolute garbage. So there you have it.
Yeah. Unless you get into night vision stuff, then you might need to look at something different. But
yeah,
general purpose, yeah, TLR one. That's what I run.
Zach, love it, like it, hate it. Love it. Tier 1 concealed. Absolutely my go-to on holsters these days. I run their appendix rig. I've got their out of the waistband stuff. Absolutely 100% love it and will recommend it to anyone. My like-its are Bravo Concealment. Bravo Concealments, and here's why they're my like-its. Now, they're inside the waistband stuff I'm not at all a fan of. I don't think they're good. I don't think they conceal well enough. I don't like them. They're outside the waistband stuff for a $35 holster is tough to beat. When you got somebody that's signed up for a class or coming kind of fresh and green and like, hey, what kind of holster? They make them for just about every kind of gun, and they're usually about $35. What's pretty cool about them too is I reached out to them for my red dot class this year. I'm like, hey, I got 5 different rental red dot guns I need holsters for. I really don't want to spend the money. I like your guys out of the waistband stuff. Are you willing to send me anything to showcase in class? They sent me free of charge holsters for all of them. So I'm certainly not at all trying to be a shill for any company, but for their out of the waistband stuff, I've been running their out of the waistband holsters for probably 5 years. No, they're not duty grade. They're not duty rated holsters, but for an out of the waistband holster, it's a good setup.
I sell them.
Hate it. Any kind of sticky holster, any kind of
Serpa
holsters. Yeah, hate them. That's it.
It's made out of injected molded plastic. It's hot garbage, and it's a dumpster fire, and it's gonna hurt. Wendy, he was talking about the tier 1 concealment holsters. They're for custom dedicated holsters. They're probably my favorite as well.
They're the best.
A little pricey, but you're getting what you pay for.
You buy once, you cry once.
Well, I usually buy 7 or 8, but that's besides the point.
Yep, Tenacores are, and again, this isn't, to say that these are the only holsters out there. Obviously, Tenacore makes a great holster. Filster makes a great holster. Keeper's Concealment, Spencer Keeper makes a fantastic holster. There are JM Custom Kydex. There's some good holster manufacturers out there that certainly is not a all-inclusive. Pete, let me know what else I can help you with. Let me know what you need, buddy. We're spending money here, open wallet tonight, so let me know what you need.
I like it.
Zach, if you're carrying a 43, you want to switch to the 19, you really need to look at the 48 before you do anything because it's pretty sweet. You're getting 19 size capacity-wise once you throw in the Shield Arms mags, but you're getting the thinness of the 43. Naughty little gun, or go with a 43X, either one, but it depends on why you're wanting to go to a 19. Do you need more grip size? Do you want more rounds in the gun? Depends on what you want, but and I've got the 43, the 48, and the 19. They're all fantastic, and they all are specific, and all can be certainly carried, but I'm really in love with that little 48.
Yeah, I played with the 48, the Shield X. Is that the bigger Shield? Yeah, Shield X.
The Shield Plus. Yes,
the Shield Plus. I've played with the SIG 365, and then I've messed with the Hellcat. I loathe Springfield as a company, which is why I'll never buy a Hellcat, but it does shoot really well. I have to admit.
If you're going to start pimping for Springfield, I'll just go ahead and sign off right now, Matt.
Oh no, I was gonna go SIG actually. I really love their 65s.
The 365s are absolutely fantastic guns.
And those XLs with the extra inch on barrel.
Yep.
Easy to conceal. But all those options are really, really good guns, all things said and done.
Yeah.
And now there's enough compact weapon lights that are not awful. And Streamlight actually makes the best compact weapon light right now.
For sure. That 7A is bee's knees there. That's a nasty, naughty little light right there. For 500 lumens and throwing enough light, that's a nice light for sure.
Hell, the Gen 1 version of it was actually surprisingly a decent light. The Streamlight was, or the Surefire was hot garbage. They have not made one that works.
I'm going to step away. I'm going to grab this 48 real quick to show Zach. Quick comparison. I'll be right back, Matt. Hold the fort down.
I can probably, we all know I love talking. But yeah, the TLR7s and the TLR8s are absolutely awesome. If you go with the TLR8, though, just make sure you understand the purpose and what lasers do and how they work and the purpose on them, because most people don't and they use them improperly. First hearing of the 48 from my knowledge, round capacity and grip is the reasoning for wanting to switch. I like the 48, it works best for the wife. Yeah, the 48 is just one of those best of both worlds. You get that narrow body, but you get that extra couple of rounds because I don't know what they did with the geometry of the magazines, but you get that super narrow profile. You might even be able to get away with some sort of grip add-on for the 48 to add a little more girth to it if you just need something to fill your hand a little bit more. But I just love how narrow those guns are, because the 48's a brilliant best of every world kind of a situation. I need Jared's wall mounting system. I sell them, Justin. I'll get you taken care of, man. But yeah, all the Glock runnings, especially for concealment guns, are phenomenal. They just work. Same thing with the Smiths. Same thing with the SIGs. They're just phenomenal guns. You can't really go wrong with them. I think the standard mags are 10+1, but like he was talking about, I think it's the Shield Arms. It's a +2 setup, so I think it'll run 13 rounds with the +2 mags. So when Jared gets back, we'll get some. We'll get confirmation on that one, but. Hey Jared, 43X, is that 10-1 or
10-1? Yeah.
Yep. Then if you get the extended mags, it's 13 total. 10,
15-1.
Oh, 15-1. There you go.
All right, so Zach, for your viewing pleasure here, and again, everything's been safety checked and nothing in the gun. So here's 43. Standard 43 right when it first came out. The 43X is now available. Adds the same length barrel, just adds a little bit to the grip. This is the 48 right here. Okay, so I'll put these side by side so you can see them. I'm going to step out of the way here just for a quick second. All right. These are the two guns side by side. So exact same profile. 48 adds a little bit to the barrel length there. 48 adds just a hair here at the bottom to the grip, but it makes it, this is a Glock 19 size now in the 48 here. So Glock 19 size as far as barrel length and frame length, but it gives the slimness of the 43. Okay. You throw then in your Shield Arms magazine, and I'm not at all one for aftermarket stuff, but these actually work. And you pop that bad boy in there, and you've got 15 round capacity, same exact thing as a Glock 19 in a Glock 43-ish style package. So take a look at them. I've been super happy with mine. I know a couple other guys who have them and have been running them pretty hard. Fantastic little guns for sure. With
all these minuscule sized guns, if there is an option available like that one where it's like the 48 where you get that extra inch of barrel length, when you're putting that into a waistband and you've got a belt on trying to conceal it, that extra inch actually helps a lot, because it lets the belt line press against instead of against the tip of the muzzle, because that'll let the grip flop. So if you have that extra inch of barrel, it pushes straight into your body instead of letting it flop out. So it'll actually conceal a lot nicer. So if you ever get the opportunity to add that, the slightly longer barrel, go with it.
Yep, and so that 48 3X is just going to add you more grip, same size barrel, and the 48 adds the grip with the barrel as well. So you got options. You got and then you compare all of that against the 19, or at least compare the 48 to the 19. Literally the exact same gun here, just slimmed down is all, with a hair bit more of the barrel cut off there. If I can line that up good enough, you're losing maybe a 1/4 inch of barrel, and it's just slim lined is all it is.
Mm-hmm. And beveled for smooth draw and holstering.
Yep, nice setup for sure. Very good setup. Glock did a real, and I'm no Glock fanboy at all. I have Glocks. They shoot extremely well, but they did a very good job on that 48 for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not exactly a Glock fan by any stretch, but I recommend them to people because they just work.
What else we got? Everybody going back to the State of the Union. What do we got? Anything else?
I always like to see what the president has to say. It's always so intelligent. Sights on an everyday carry, pros and cons. Are you talking red dot sights? Because if that's what you're talking, I vote red dot sight.
Yeah, are you saying just keeping stock sights, or are you saying should you go to night sights or fiber optics? What are you asking for there?
Yes.
Pros, probably too much to put into a not red dot specific, but the biggest pro is you can stay target focused, period. And you'll be a better shooter. Well, I take it back. If your fundamentals are down, you'll be a better shooter. Okay, throwing a red dot on a slide does not make you all of a sudden John Wick. Okay, you throw a red dot on a slide, take my red dot pistol class, and yeah, you're going to be John Wick-ish. But obviously, fundamentals over everything. If your fundamentals are solid, yeah, you're going to shoot better. But being able to stay threat focused instead of front sight focused, biggest pro of the red dot. Biggest con of the red dot is a little added user maintenance. There's a battery in the thing. You got to change a battery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The red dot's it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, because the nice thing about red dot setups is in order to be able to use the red dot at all brings you up to the level that you should be at with an iron sight gun. People who shoot iron sight guns, and our renewal class is a perfect example of this. You'll watch guys pop their pistol up and then they're doing this because they're trying to figure out how to line the sights up. If you can consciously use a red dot sight properly, it means your fundamentals are pretty much rock solid to begin with, because in order to pick up that dot, you have to have at least the body mechanics to get you in the right direction. And from there, it's just leaps and bounds. So heck, even if you don't pick up the dot, you're at least going to be indexed in the right direction because you have been training on that system, and it forces you to do it properly. Otherwise, you can't pick up the dot. That's everybody's biggest gripe when they're learning how to pick up a red dot for the first time is I can't find the dot. I can't find the dot. Once they figure out how to do it consistently, then you realize that it's a safety mechanism that requires you to shoot with proper mechanics and skills.
Yep. And generally, with Matt saying that people are having trouble picking up the dot, generally that's because those people do not have a proper grip and presentation, and that's just simply fundamentals that need to be revised and brought up to modern technique, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you're signing up for the red dot class. Great, let's see you, and you're more than welcome to run the 48 in class if you want to try it before you buy it.
Wendy, anytime. A leather holster for my 9mm, and when I would sit down, it would hit the mag release button. Probably not an ideal holster. Yeah, I don't think it's been crazy, so I've been kind of AWOL with getting everything together here. But as soon as the opportunity presents itself, Donna, we can sit down or or you can always send a message to Jared too. He'll gladly help you, I'm sure. We kind of get you in the right direction for a better holster setup. I think I was supposed to be looking for one for you, and I've been more than a little sidetracked, unfortunately, right now. But Yeah, probably need to get something that's going to be a little bit more. That's not going to have that problem where you're compressing. Plus, with a leather holster, you want to have something that's going to be stiff enough that it, it should be a rigid holster, leather or not. If it's soft enough that you're pressing the mag release, it's probably a problem for a couple of different things. How was the
Zach, red dot at night? The only thing you need to be aware of is setting the dot appropriate for your environment you find yourself in. So what we talk about with that is at nighttime, the biggest concern you have is dot washout when you introduce white light to the gun. So if you are drawing, presenting, you got the gun out, you found your dot, you're ready to turn your light on. If you have that light going, your dot is too dim, it'll wash that dot out on the gun. Again, setting that for the appropriate environment that you find yourself in, not going to be an issue at all.
Agreed.
Chris, thoughts on the Walther PDP? Walther PDP. I have not personally shot one. The last Walther that I shot was the Q5 match. And if I could spend $1,300 on a gun that would really just sit and be shot and not be carried, I absolutely would do it. Walther is probably the biggest company out there right now who's actually listening to their end user input and actually making changes and making things work the way that it should, or the way that consumers think that it should. Again, I don't have any direct knowledge of it, but guys, if you follow, Scott Jedlinski, Modern Samurai, if you follow Jim Dexter, Technically Sound, you follow Bill Blauer, some of these guys who are on their pro team essentially. They're all out shooting me, and they're all shooting Walthers. So they're fantastic guns. Like I said, that Q5 match that I shot a couple years ago at a Jim Dexter class. Absolutely phenomenal. And with this PDP now, they're coming out in full-size versions, 4-inch versions. I mean, it's from everything I've heard, I have yet to hear one bad thing about it, and everything has been, guys shoot at one time at a Jedi class or whoever's class, and they go out and buy one the next day.
Mm-hmm. There's two of them floating around Rochelle right now, actually.
To take a look, because I guess they have a crazy good law enforcement price on those too. So one may be in my future. We'll see.
Yeah, Walter's really pushing for market share right now with this. When they teamed up with Safari Land and got them to build holsters for them too, right out of the gate.
Yeah,
they're coming with a vengeance. They're pushing for, it's like what Glock did back in the 80s and 90s when they started doing department trade-ins for dirt cheap just to get into the market.
Yep, for sure.
But cool concept. I like them. I have one huge complaint with them though. Mag release. They decided to go American style instead of the Euro style. For shame. It could have been a perfect gun, but no.
So what you're saying is they're basically every other manufacturer but H&K.
Hey, all the other Walther guns have a paddle release option. The Q5 match comes with a paddle release option as long as you don't get the steel frame now.
Donna, I teach out of the Pecatonica area, so Rockford/Pecatonica, but just outside of Pecatonica is where my range is at. So I'm a little more centric to there, but greater Rockford area, we'd say. Zach, Glock versus Smith & Wesson.
This is all you, Jared. You shoot both of them. I don't shoot either of them.
This is the Ford versus Chevy 9mm versus 45. I shot Glock for a long time. I carried a Glock for a long time. For concealed carry, I carried Glock 19. Literally, as soon as I picked up the new 2.0 and shot it, I ordered one the next week. That's back when Jake was running his shop, and I haven't turned back. And why, the question is, a lot of people would say that. I instantly knew that I shot it better, more accurately, faster, and I hands down loved the new grip texture that the Smith & Wesson put on the 2.0 series. And for me, it was the best gun out there. I've shot that gun now. I've had my first 5-inch I bought, I guess, probably 4 years ago, and been running that pretty much exclusively in any class I take or teach. And then I followed up and bought the 4-inch model first. Had that one 4 years, ran that pretty consistent. My 5-inch model I've had probably 3 years, and same thing, ran that alongside the other one. I'm far from the best shooter out there, but I've also been to a lot of classes with it and been able to keep up with usually the top shooters in the class, and going up against, guys running STIs and guys shooting Walthers and guys shooting stuff. For me, that's the right gun. For you, it may not be. I've had other people put their hands on it. They're like, hey, this thing is awful, and I'm going back to my Glock. So that's really not a question that I can answer. That's a question you got to answer for yourself. But again, if you're picking a gun up that feels better, that you shoot better, that you're more accurate with, more faster, what makes you more gooder, that's the gun for you.
Do you love more gooder?
Always more gooder.
All right. I don't know about you, but I think I'm ready to wind down.
Yeah.
I've got a 4:30 wake up for a 6 a.m. shift. So
if you guys have any more questions, feel free to put some stuff in the comments. We'll go back through comments and either link products to it or link questions to it, answer questions in there. We'll do this again. These are always a good time. We appreciate the showing here. We appreciate you all coming out and sticking with us for the night. We had a good show out, good comments, 125 comments down there today. So it's good to see them. Good to see some familiar names again popping up, and we hope to see you guys downrange. Hope to see you guys on the range here this year. And if there's anything else you need, let us know.
Yeah, and all the guys that tuned in from my end, if you haven't liked DMEC's page, get out there and freaking do it. All right, and not to beg for likes as well, but vice versa. But get used to working with each other, because me and Jared have been working together a long time now. I think we plan on continuing to do that at some point in the future. We may even try to teach a class together.
Yep.
So we want to see that relationship continue to grow. And I want my guys, and I tell my students this, and I tell them the concealed carry class, don't just train with one instructor and get sucked into that. Get in the habit of training with other people and other point of views. Me and Jared teach a lot of things very, very similarly, but we have very different ways of doing some things, and sometimes explaining the same concept. So if it doesn't work, if the way I'm teaching it isn't sticking in your head, go take Jared's class. If it's not, you're not picking it up for some reason out of Jared's class, come take my class. Maybe just the way we're explaining and the way we're teaching things, you just need to get that right, that right view, and you may pick something up. And then go train with front sight solutions. Go train with Spartan Tactical, whatever. So get out there and do all that good stuff. Otherwise, like you're saying, thanks for tuning in. Sign up for classes, get a rifle. Yay.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody coming out tonight. We'll see you here again, hopefully shortly. All right, Matt, we'll talk to you later, buddy.
Yep. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.